One of my favorite stories in the Bible is the story of the prodigal son. And we all know the story. The son goes off to a far country, spends his wealth with riotous living, and he wastes all of his wealth and he finds himself in a pig pen. And then he comes to himself and says, I must go home to my father. On his way home, the father sees him far off. He leaves his high place and then he goes and he runs to his child and then he embraces him. He hugs him. All of his love falls upon his child. That's what I want to talk to you about, the father's embrace or the father's connection to their children. It is important for us to learn that it's necessary not only to provide for our children, for their needs, for their bread and financially, but it's also very important that we provide for them emotionally. And I mean build an emotional attachment through connection and physical touch. And yes, I'm talking about positive physical touch, because what positive physical touch does is it brings connection. And while we're on the subject of positive physical touch, then negative physical touch does the exact opposite. It makes you disconnect from people and also disconnect from the world. As we build positive connection with our children, they're able to connect with the world surrounding them. When you hug your kids, when you touch them positively, it releases a chemical called oxytocin. What oxytocin does is it makes this connection. It's that bubbly chemical that makes you feel all tingly inside, and it builds a connection. Mothers release oxytocin in pregnancy. Now, let me just say this. Oftentimes we think that's the mother's job, to be the emotional, to be the physical one. And many of us didn't have a lot of contact or hugs and kisses from our father, and oftentimes it made us very distant and disconnected. And some of us really needed that connection. And so we look for that connection somewhere in the world, finding it in all of these things, trying to fill that void of those connections. What I'm telling you, Dad, is let's build positive connection with our children. When you connect with your children, they learn to connect with the world. Positive touch, hugging them, loving upon them, because when that oxytocin is released, it's bringing forth connection with the child. And also, oxytocin helps the brain heal and again helps the brain connect. So let's say you have trauma and didn't have a lot of touching and a lot of love from your father. As you connect with your child, it literally will cause your brain to be healed as well. So fathers, run, love on, connect with your children. Let's be dads that connect.